Hola, hola, hola a todos. Es tu prima favorita, Bobby here, and thank you for joining me in the Cousins Corner. If you are not new here, if you are new here, welcome to the Cousins Corner. I'm tu prima favorita, Bobby, and I just like to talk. And I'm going to be running mi boca, running my mouth about something that I was watching earlier. I saw this video with this creator who was talking about that they think that social media for kids should be illegal. And I have to say that I agree. And I know that that seems a bit radical. It kind of is, but at the same time, hear me out, hear me out. It makes sense just because social media does a lot, right? And it does a lot good, but it also does a lot of bad. And us being full grown adults, we are still subject to fall under the impression of social media, right? And this is us with fully developed brains. Like it can rot your brain as a full grown adult. So imagine what it can do to developing children. And so that is one of the reasons why I agree that things like Instagram or TikTok or whatever the case may be might not be the best for children under a certain age to have, might not be the best for people under the age of 25 or who do not have a fully developed frontal lobe to have. But I digress. And another reason why I agree with that too is just because I work with students, and as much as students are able to tell you like what it is that they like or what they don't like or what they do in their spare time, you won't believe how many kids do not know what they like to do. Do not, just like basic things of, do you like to draw, do you like to read, do you like to write? It's like, I like to be in my room on my phone. And you hear that a lot, and I'm beginning to hear it a lot more than what I used to hear. And it's not necessarily the internet itself that's bad to have, but it's just the fact that there is so much at our fingertips that these students, these kids who have phones, they also have the same access to the things that we have at our fingertips as well. And then with just the rise of AI, with just the rise of social media and the evolution of it all, the evolution of technology of it all, you can kind of see the decline in the evolution of us as humans. You see a decline in people wanting closeness, the decline in people wanting friendships or caring about friendships or caring about doing things outside of their houses. And when you really think about it, think about how many adults like just go to work and then go straight home. And it's like, what do you do? Nothing. I go home. I don't have friends. I don't talk to people. I don't do any of that now. I don't think that that's healthy, but there are a lot of people who are functioning like that. And it's getting to the point where people don't even value socializing with other people, or at least like trying to not even necessarily just make friends, but to socialize with people. And I also have to say that the vid has also had something to do with that, and the way that we interact with each other, because everybody was locked up for so long. Everybody was separated for so long. We had no choice but to be by ourselves. And so a lot of people just got used to living like that and being like that. And so trying to acclimate back into the world, it's like, no, especially if you have a job that has never went back to in person, then it's even more of a reason for you not to socialize. And I do feel like though social media does a lot of good, it does a lot of terror as well. There's way too much information out there, good, bad, indifferent, or just downright wrong. And when you're putting it in the hands of people who are still developing, who are still learning, who are still latching onto things very, very quickly, it is not a good thing, because they don't necessarily have the wherewithal always to go and do the research to find out things for themselves. A lot of adults don't have that either. And so putting social media in their hands, something that's so powerful, with no guidance of how to use it, can be very detrimental to their growth. And it can be very detrimental to the way that they are socialized with other people, because of all of the information that's online, and all of it's being told in different ways, or different kids are taking it in different ways, or they're just listening to different things. So when they come together, it's like, well, this is what I believe, and this is what I believe, and none of you really know what you believe, because you've been fed to believe certain things. So now you just think that it's right because it sounds good, or because your favorite content creator is the one that's saying it. And I say that it affects all types of relationships. It affects dating, it affects parental relationships with their kids, it affects kids' relationships to other kids and siblings. It's like sometimes I get ask some of my students, like, do you and your siblings get along? Do y'all talk? Do y'all know? I just be in my room on my phone, they be in their room on their phone, and that's pretty much it. I go home and I get on my phone. There are a lot of people who don't even do anything, like I said, after work. They go home and they just get on their phone and it's just scrolling, 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 scrolling. And this is how socialization works. It gets you into these habits that then affect all of these other places in your life. So you're so locked up and locked into this phone, you don't look up. You don't make conversation with people. You don't value actually being in person with people because there's so much at your fingertips. And not to say that that's necessarily a bad thing or a wrong thing, but it's not a helpful thing. And it's definitely not a helpful thing for our young people whose brains are still developing, whose brains are easily rotting behind all of the extra crap and crud that is all over social media. So I completely agree with that content creator saying that some of these websites should be illegal for children. Like they should be. They shouldn't have an option to make them. They shouldn't have an option to be on TikTok, of course, underneath a certain age, or to be on Instagram or whatever the case may be. It also makes me think about technology in schools. And again, I'm not saying that technology itself is bad, but I'm saying that teaching students how to use technology, how to use AI, how to use these tools successfully is much more helpful than just throwing phones in their faces so that they get out of your face. And I think that that also kind of ties into parenting, and it could be another reason why a lot of people are opting out of having kids, because it's like, not only do I have to worry about the scary wonders of the world and training my child up in the way that they should go, but I also have to teach them around all of this information that's easily accessible at their fingertips, how to take that in or not to take that in, how to navigate around it, and how do you not give your child a phone when every other kid around them already has a phone? How do you tell them that they can't have social media when every other kid around them has social media? How do you keep your child from falling into the pits and the grass of the negative of these things when the rest of the world is seemingly normalizing things that shouldn't be normalized? And so I think that people are opting out of that responsibility too, of like, I don't want to have to take that on as well because it's hard enough for me to manage myself. It's hard enough for me to manage how this stuff affects me. So then I got to worry about how it affects the child, along with it being so expensive to live and everything else that's happening. Absolutely not gonna do it. And I don't disagree with people. I don't have a child either, so who wants to bring one into this economy, this type of world? Really back into my point of that these things are more harmful to our students than helpful to our students, especially without any guidance of how to use it. And I think that it just continues to push a further separation of just socializing with the people around you. It doesn't encourage you to be more social with people around you. If anything, it takes you away and it allows you to be in your own world, in your own phone, with all the information that you want in your fingertips. And again, that's not inherently a bad thing, but that's also why you have kids out here who are not willing to take risks, who are not willing to take chances, who don't know what it is that they want to do, don't know what they're interested in, don't want to socialize with other kids, don't want to be in certain spaces. And then you have these spaces that are not really getting with the time because students are learning differently now. Students have been socialized to be different now, and they're still going to school in a school system that was designed to create workers. I know I said a lot. And I have really deep feelings about things, especially when it comes to students, because my bread and butter, my career is working with middle school students. So I see a lot of this growth side or the lack thereof within them. But anyway, I'm not going to run my mouth for too much longer. Please feel free to drop a comment down in the comment section below because I love to engage with you. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. I am tu prima favorita, Bobby, and I just like to talk. So I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me in the Cousins Corner. Bye.